standing outside of Cafe Bourbon Street, otherwise known as Cafe Bobo in Columbus, Ohio. I'm here with Jenna and Scott from the Here's Collective. How's, getting on the road been? I know, y'all had, a little run, and then you went home for a little bit, and now you're back out again. Just tell me your general feelings about this run so far.
I mean, we've basically kind of been on the road on and off since March. We had a 7-week tour and then a little time off and then some toured with Liturgy and then some time off. Yeah, and then we just got back from Canada. So it's the best version of being exhausted.
Well, talk to me about your feelings around New Friends Fest. I know that was it was such a big haul. You were jumping off the balcony. It was utter chaos. Tell me about it.
I was shocked. I didn't realize it was going to be that. I was also sad that Scott wasn't able to make it on that one. So it was a fucking bummer. I don't know. It was more than we had expected, and we're just Canada is fun. Their money is see-through. It was the first time that was able to get over the border both ways without being detained or pulled to the side. It was very nice, but not having your best friend there is hard. But
how did you feel sitting at home watching all the Instagram stories from it?
I mean, I was definitely bummed, but was just I can tell Jenna's loving it. I was just kind of that's cool.
I had to make up for Scott not being there. So I was
So you threw down?
I threw up. Yeah.
Speaking of you not being able to be there, do you guys have other jobs? Is it hard for you to kind of coordinate going out on tour all the time because of responsibilities you have at home?
I personally, I do have a job, and we'll see if I continue to. But
are you trying to make the band your full-time thing right now?
I'm letting it happen how it can. I'm not I have this body and these vocal cords for the amount of time that I do. It would be cool if we were a pop punk or country band where it's really chill and we're not killing ourselves. But there's other passions that I have beyond music, but I'm very happy to personally, I'm taking as much space up and doing as many shows and as much touring as I can right now.
I have a full-time job. I have a super sweet boss who's as long as schedules work out right, he'll usually let me have time off, but schedules didn't work out this time, so I couldn't make it, but he let me do this. He let me take off 7 weeks to do the other long one.
Crazy.
So, I work for a small company, and there's 3 of us, and so just the other person had already requested time off, so it's... But he was super sweet. I asked him, and he was if you really want to, you can. And I was just am I going to be screwing you? You just be honest with me, man. And he's just we would stay in business. But I was all right, say no more, man.
But we'd be rapidly approaching bankruptcy.
I have a partner at home, then we have animals that are old, and I feel bad just leaving her at home to be have fun working your full-time job and taking care of the house. And
is that a weird feeling for you to kind of just be you have this normative life with a full-time job and a partner, and then you kind of just as soon as the opportunity comes up, you're ditching to go to some random city and play in a bar like this?
Yeah. I mean, I always ask my partner are you okay with this and everything, and she's literally never said no. And she's super sweet, super supportive. I'm very thankful for her. But I also know that it's tough for her, but she never lets me know. She's no, we're doing great at home, and I'm
well, that's really nice that she wants to be supportive. That's wonderful.
I would like to shout out Scott's partner and boss because they let me get to spend time with them on the road. It makes me it's incredible, and they're really sweet, and I see what they're doing when we're out on the road. Yeah, it's chill.
Shout out Brian and Beck.
Yeah.
Shout out Brian and Beck.
Thanks, Brian and Beck.
Moving to a little where you guys are from, how has the Philly scene changed over the years in your eyes? A lot of things get commodified, and house show venues are just this thing that can go away in the blink of an eye. So are you guys hemorrhaging on venues, or is it still alive and well and you're proud of what's going on?
Not hemorrhaging on venues, but except for time, because there's so many bands all the time, and it's such a small place, or it's a huge, we're on the East Coast where all the people are always coming through. There's unfortunately never a night where you can't go to a show. If you want to go to a show every single night, you can. And I feel the only trouble we've had finding a venue recently is because our friends in Night Witch are throwing a big wrestling gig, And so they were trying to find a place that could house like a wrestling ring and like lights and like all this stuff. That doesn't mean that venues don't come and go. It doesn't mean that we don't like have fear of losing venues, especially during lockdown.
Definitely like post-COVID, everyone was like so cooped up for so long and there were so many like COVID bands that started. Like, I mean, it happened to me. Like, I'm currently in 3 bands, which wasn't a big deal whenever, like when the pandemic was happening. But now it's like I'm playing a show like every weekend, practicing like twice a week, on top of like working and tour. Yeah. And so I'm getting spread a little thin, but it's still cool. But like everyone is in a couple bands now. Like Jenna was saying, there's shows every single solitary night. I don't know. So I feel like post-pandemic, it's just been like kind of crazy.
Gotcha. Too much of a good thing, almost.
Been, like starved for like live music. Yeah. And I was when we did the last tour that we did personally, and like the full U.S. thing, we were like, holy shit, man! Like people are like coming to shows, yeah. And it was one of those things where it's hard for me to believe that like it's also here's that like people want to see and not just like I just want to go to a show. And so I don't know, I think we had a lot of conversations about that, but like the difference between like loving an album, loving a band, being starved for live music and knowing you're gonna have a good time or like a place with like a safer spot with like rad weirdos or something.
You guys are getting a lot of press on the new record and it's great. Like there's so many insane collaborations, Converge, Throw, Soul Glow, Melt Banana. Talk to me about your feeling like surrounding just the fact that these bands want to work with you. And also, on the flip side of that, you guys started as a DIY band. You're clearly still a DIY band. You're playing small venues with local artists. Has it been kind of like surreal to like see like a write-up in alternative press for y'all, or?
I don't know. I think the beginning was kind of bananas for me personally. It was more surreal that like when I reached out to Melt Banana, that they like sent a collab, and I was like, well, I can quit. Done, nailed it. Like they're like one of for me personally is one of the most influential bands of all time. It was a lot when it first came out, and it was like great to see the press, and at the same time like it was a lot of fucking hard work that went into it, and like I don't know, a lot of emotional labor, a lot of like physical labor. So like I think I was personally happy that the record actually happened and that there's momentum with it. It was like really cool to see like the things that people were saying about it, but really I was just like happy that it happened and that we're still a band like moving forward and touring with it. And it was less being surprised by like the press because there's like big names on it or whatever, and more like going to shows and being like, holy crap. I think it was like the first time we were like selling out multiple places, and every time we'd get somewhere, it'd be nervous to be like, oh man, nobody's going to show up. And they're like, no, we have this many pre-sales or whatever. I'm like, what? Why? So that was like kind of more surreal to me.
It is definitely weird feeling. Like Jenna and I have been doing like this weird kind of music for like 20 years, and like no one has ever given a shit. And then when people do, we're like, wait, why?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you messing with us? Like, what's happening? So yeah, it's cool. But it's also weird, and we're just kind of like, we've been doing this for a while, and we're just going to keep kind of doing what we're doing, and if you like it, awesome.
And I think, too, like, maybe to say, like, we still travel in, like, a minivan, and it's still just the two of us, and, like, we don't have, like, this, like, a big crew or whatever, and those are the ways that we're still able to afford to be able to do this. And I think, like, that's a huge thing, too, and I'm talk about DIY, like drive it yourself. Scott drove all 8 hours here from Philly because I didn't sleep last night because I was packing and making buttons. So way to go. But yeah, like I don't want to take away from that, or like people think like, you see these crazy pictures where like there's all these people or whatever, and it's like, yeah, it's still the two of us 9 times out of 10. Yeah.
It is pretty insane because my perception of you is like, I don't know, there's people from My Chemical Romance on the new record. Like, I kind of saw you as like a big band. And I was worried coming to this show that it was going to sell out. I was worried about going to Ralph's that it was going to sell out. Yeah. But you guys really are like sticking to the like DIY, smaller shows, local crowd type of thing. And it is really honorable.
Less of a big band and more if you stay in punk long enough, you just know more people.
It's more about the experience for you and not the clout. And I love that. But
it feels nice to be recognized and like to actually, it feels nice to not lose money on a tour. I'll tell you that. Like, It like legitimately, and like, but like also a lot of that shit is like merch sales and like whatever. Like we still gotta like, somebody once was like, oh, you're a merch core band. I mean like, nah, man, we gotta get gas.
We need to eat tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, but like we've been like playing these like having a booking agent for the first time who really takes care of us and like makes sure that we're taken care of, and I don't know, it's been a new experience and it's been pretty fucking rad, and just to be able to sustain ourselves with this still like DIY ethic and like punk music or whatever has been, it's exhausting and it's like backbreaking and it's worth it.
Like if we play a show to like 10 people or to like 250 people, yeah, like it still feels the same to at least same to me.
Shit. And you bring the same energy to both performances.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm like I'm not one of the like I don't want to speak for you, but like we're not the kind of band that like feeds off the energy of the crowd. We're just like, I don't know if that's weird.
You bring the energy.
Yeah, that's kind of, it's just like we love playing music and we love playing music together, and we're just gonna like play it like we love it regardless if anyone else gives a shit.
I definitely feed off of energy, and luckily Scott is like full of it all the time. There are times where I definitely get more like because there's like people, like not even the amount of people, but like if there's 5 people moving around versus 100 people standing still, that's also completely different to me personally.
Which would you prefer? 5 people who are just their minds are being blown, they're like throwing down super hard, or 100 people just standing with their arms crossed?
5.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like it's, yeah. I'm still gonna try to get them to crowd surf me.
Fuck yeah.
Because those people are like, we can fucking do it, let's go. And the 100 people are like, you jump in there, they're like, whoa.
What's in store for the future of Here's Collective? Like, are you just going to keep doing more of the same, more insano collaborations?
I would like to take a break on that for a second, but also, yes, we're doing, we're working on a collaboration record, or like our 7-inch with our friends Def Club. And then we've been trying to do this collaboration record with Fed Ash from Syracuse and Buffalo and stuff. New York. There we go. It's hard for us not to write music, so we always have like something in the pipeline, like almost where it's like, we gotta like record this because it's gonna be old by the time it's released. And we're touring
with Gel.
Oh yeah, that's what we're doing. We're heading up to meet them basically. We're like supporting them, and then we're doing like a Florida like redo because we had to skip some dates because of an injury. We're playing with Crass, which is really funny.
Wow.
Yeah, we're just playing like the rest of the year is fucking booked. It feels crazy. It's cool though. Yeah, people keep on asking us to play cool shows, so we're like, all right.
Hard to say no when it just keeps coming.
It's hard to say yes too sometimes. You're like, oh man, that's so awesome. We gotta do it. Yeah.
And then you think about sitting in the car just totally mindless, like neither of you are talking to each other, and your lower back just like aching in pain every night when you lay down. Because you're like, oh, I was in the car for 9 hours today.
I don't have a lower back anymore. I used to be 6'3".
Right here was just like snoring and podcasts.
I was dead. And then we get our little ADHD flare-ups where we're just like, ha! And we start laughing at each other.
Anything else you want to tell the people at home? What can people expect from Hers Collective show? Why should they care about you? Why should they come see you live?
Do you, boo? I don't care. I do care. Come have fun. Or don't.
Come hang out if you want.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll be here having fun. Ah.
All right. This has been Alex with Hers Collected outside of Cafe Bourbon Street. Thank you for watching.